everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, or if you're going to be catching the replay of this later, that you've had a wonderful day. So today, inner relationship focusing. So this is the modality that, one of them that we'll be sharing on Sunday with everybody. So basically when we have insecure attachment, there is this feeling, it's this lack of connection and relationship with the self and with others, and safe relationship, that is. And so inner relationship focusing is about building your inner relationship with yourself, and it is a somatic modality. So I know earlier in the week I touched on somatics and why they're important, and there is a whole world of different somatic modalities that can be used, and this is just one of them. And then also we talked about the inner child as well, and so that's considered parts work. So I feel like inner relationship focusing kind of brings the two together. So we've got parts work, and then we've got somatic felt sense stuff. And this modality is just amazing. I love it. Now that I've learned it, I use it in my own life all of the time, for my children, for my husband. The best thing about this is that you don't have to have a therapist sitting there in front of you. While we're learning it, it can be very helpful to be guided and prompted and reminded. But it is a tool that you can take away and you can use by yourself, and you can use in partnership, and you can use it with your friend, with your mother, with your sister. Like it doesn't matter. It is just a beautiful practice of having space held for you while you inquire into your own inner world and be with whatever is present in the moment. And so it is this process of dropping into the body. And so on Wednesday, I think it was, when we talked about somatics and the felt sense, and this ability to be able to describe sensations in the body. And so it's going inwards and just being open to see what is there and what is coming up. And you will have a companion, somebody who would be holding the space with absolute presence for you. And you would describe your experience, and this other person is reflecting it back. And when you get deeper into this work, they can offer prompts and reminders on going deeper with your experience. But ultimately, whoever is focusing, going inwards, is entirely responsible for their process and what's happening for them. And just being with these different sensations can then open up insight and wisdom and messages, I suppose. And these sensations can then start to take on the form of like different parts of the self. So they might have emotions, and they might have opinions and statements and things that need to be said and shared and felt and heard. And so that's where the relationship part comes in. So we're actually then starting to build a relationship with these parts that are coming through our body as sensations, and holding space for them, and being compassionate and understanding, and checking in, what are their needs. And so every session is going to be different when you do this. And the idea is that you don't go in with this expectation of, I'm going to fix this problem and this problem and this problem. By all means, we can bring a challenge or an issue that might be current in our lives, but we start to remove that expectation of solving or fixing, and start to move into presence of being with, and then see what happens. And it is, transformational work when we learn how to be with something as opposed to changing it. It just moves and shifts and gives you insights that you never had before, and it's doing the work already just by being present and being with something. What else do I want to say about this? This isn't a new modality. It's been around for quite a while. I think it was the 60s that it originated from a psychologist and philosopher. It was taken by a couple of his students, and they sort of like evolved it and morphed it over the decades. But it is, quite commonly used in the States. I know that. That's where myself and Shiana learned this, not actually over there, but just through doctors and psychologists and therapists that are actively using this over in the United States. So it is widely known. And I think it's this working with the body and this embodiment of emotions and being present is just sort of really sort of coming around in Australia, and people are starting to realize that being in their body is where we can find healing and insight. Yes, and then that relationship. So back to attachment. When we start to build these relationships with these parts that are internal to us, then we start to feel more whole, I suppose, less fragmented of having this part over there that I ignore or dismiss or reject or do not like. We start to bring that in, and we start to feel more full and more strong and confident and secure and safe. And what's happening externally doesn't feel so overwhelming to us in a way that we can't handle it, or we need to shut down and run away from it. We feel more able to move forward, right? And then, because that inner world reflects our outer world, it also sets us up to be able to have safe and secure and loving relationships with others as well. And so that leads me into the next topic, which was, so inner relationship focusing was what I was going to talk about yesterday. And if you'd seen my post up on the slides, then you'd know that. And today I also wanted to touch on healing attachment wounds through safe and secure relationship. And so when we talk about the nervous system, whoever's nervous system has got, I suppose strongest is I'm going to use the word strongest for this description, but I don't mean that in the sense that somebody is weaker than another. But when a nervous system is more, it can bring another person into the same vibe, is what I'm trying to say. So, for example, somebody who mostly leans on secure attachment strategies, and they're pretty solid in that, has the ability to bring, say, an anxious or avoidant or a disorganized attachment style into that safe, secure, functioning relationship, which is amazing, right? In saying that, it can go the other way as well. So somebody maybe with highly disorganized attachment strategies might bring in an anxious attacher more into disorganized as well. So we all influence each other, right, in connection and in relationship. And so that's why relationships are such a huge part of how we heal our attachment wounds. And ultimately, insecure attachment was caused from relationship with caregivers. And so it actually does need to heal in relationship as well. And so that doesn't mean that if you're, single, you're not married or whatever, that you're doomed to never heal. These types of relationships can be found in many different ways. So it can be a friend, it can be a mentor, a coach, a teacher, therapist, and then even outside of people as well. Like, we often dismiss how powerful a relationship can be with a place or an object or an animal or nature. Yes, so learning to discern what a safe and secure relationship is in comparison to something that's toxic and cycling around in negative patterns can be difficult for those who have insecure attachment styles. And so once you start to heal this inner relationship with self, then what starts to happen is you start to see your external relationships differently, and you will start to understand what is or isn't healthy. But it is important to find security in a relationship to support your healing in an attachment, insecure attachment wounds. What else do I want to say about that? I think it's important to note as well that, two insecure attachment styles can come together, like two predominantly insecure, and still, very much have a chance at having a happy, safe, secure relationship. So often, like the most common negative, toxic trauma bond, I suppose, that you will see in terms of attachment is an anxious ambivalent with an avoidant dismissive. And it's like really intense, and they trigger each other a lot. And then they're also very highly passionate as well. So it can cycle around, and it can be toxic, and it can be re-traumatizing. And quite often it's this coupling that ends up in therapy. But are they doomed? Not necessarily. But what it does take is that both partners are on board. So if there's one person that's doing the work as such, and when I talk about the work, I mean, exploring the things that we've talked about this week, like the psychoeducation and the reparenting of the inner child, the going in to be with what is, taking responsibility for self, all of these things both need to be on the same page. So if one's going, oh no, it's all you're the problem, you need to go off and fix you, then I'm not too sure that that's going to be working out too well in the future. It becomes a we problem, and a we problem means that both partners take responsibility for themselves and their attachment, but they also care for how the other person's attachment is as well. So you're looking after each other's nervous system, and you're discovering each other's attachment wounds, and you learn how to build a safe and secure relationship together as a we problem. So just really wanted to note that that is 100% possible. So you're not doomed if you don't have a secure partner or find a secure partner. There's plenty of other ways to heal and to be in relationship with others that can be satisfying, fulfilling, and safe. Right, I think on that note, that's probably all I had to say. I will share some more slides on the safe and secure relationships. Yes, and just that reminder again that we're doing our workshop on Sunday, and that is a chance to drop in and feel what it's like to be in a safe, secure connection with another person. Yeah, really excited. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And as always, I'm available for anyone who wants to reach out, ask questions, have a chat. Yeah, all right, take care.